Okay, grade 7, welcome to your Chapter 8 Circles final answer key. The first 5 questions of your test were matched. So I'm just going to show you what these are. So these right over here are your questions, and you're supposed to match them with 1 through 9. Well, the first one says 2 radiuses, and if we think about a circle, and we think about a radius, and we think about another radius, 2 radiuses is a fancy way to say a diameter. The first thing we learned is that if you take any circumference of a circle and divide it by its diameter, you always get approximately a value equal to pi. So circumference divided by diameter would be a formula for calculating pi. Pi r squared is the easy one. It's the formula for calculating the area of a circle. Pi times diameter is another easy formula. It's for calculating circumference. And half of a diameter, if this is a diameter, then half a diameter would be, that's right, a radius. Those are your answers to your first 5 questions. Question 6 says, true or false? If a circle has a radius of 4 meters, then the diameter will be 2 meters. Well, let's draw that. So the radius is 4 meters, then the diameter will be 2. No, if the radius is 4, the diameter will be 8 meters. So the answer is false for question 6. Question 7 says a circle graph shows that 10%, there's a circle graph, that shows that 10% of my math students think I could be a model for Abercrombie and Fitch. I thought it would be a lot higher than that. This graph should be 36 degrees for this sector. So should this be that? Well, in order hello, Mr. Robichaux. So 10% of 360 degrees is 10% of 360, which does equal 36, which means, yes, we will use 36 degrees for that sector, which means it's true. Question 8 in true false is the circumference of a circle will always be approximately 6 times larger than the diameter. 6 times larger. Well, let's just see that. So we know that the circumference of a circle is equal to pi multiplied by the diameter, right? So if we were to put, I don't know, the circumference of a circle will always be 6 times. So let's just make up one here. So let's put approximately 3, and let's make up a diameter of a circle. Let's make a diameter of 10 meters. Okay, so we'll put 10 in there and see what the circumference. So the circumference, according to my calculations, should be 30 units, in this case 30 meters. Is that 6 times larger than the diameter? No. Since the diameter is 10 meters and the circumference is 30, it's only 3 times larger than the diameter. So the answer is false. Question 9 says the radius of a circle is 10 meters. Let's draw that. The radius of a circle is 10 meters. The perimeter of the circle will be approximately 20 meters. Well, we could put, instead of perimeter, that's a fancy word for circumference. Circumference and perimeter are the same thing, except one deals with a circle. So what is this? Well, we'll have to put, right here, I'd have to put another 10 meters. So the diameter is 20. So circumference equals pi times diameter. Circumference equals approximately 3 multiplied by the diameter. So the circumference should be around 60. So I'll put a little approximately 60 meters. Is it approximately 20 meters? No, so therefore it's false. And the last true false says a circular field has a diameter of 16 meters. A square field, which I'll draw poorly over here, has a side length of 15 meters. The circular field has slightly more area than the square field. Well, let's check this out. What is the area of this? Well, for area, we're going to use pi times the radius squared, or 3.14 multiplied by the radius. If the diameter is 16, then the radius is 8 squared, or I'm just going to put 3 times 64. I'm just going to get rid of that because I'm going to estimate it. 3 times 64 is 192 approximately meters squared of area. Okay, approximately. Now the other one over here is 15 multiplied by the width of the square, which is 15. 15 times 15 is 225 square meters. Does the circle have more area? No. The square has more area, therefore the answer is false. All right, moving along. So questions 11 on are all of your just figure out the answer to these. So for question 11 is what's the circumference? We have to use circumference is equal to pi times diameter. Circumference equals 3.14 multiplied by the diameter, which would be 8, because the radius is 4, the diameter is 8. Circumference equals 3.14 times 8. Ooh, I guess I can do that now. That's 25.12. So the answer is, the circumference is 25.12 centimeters for the circumference. Question 12. Oopsie daisy. I gotta put this back over here. Sorry. I can't. All right, let's go back to this side. Back to there. There we go. So what is the circumference of this circle? So here we have circumference is pi times diameter. Circumference equals pi times diameter. Circumference equals 3.14 multiplied by the diameter, which in this case is 24.6. Take my calculator. 3.14 multiplied by, so 24.6. 24.6 equals 77.244. But it says in big bold letters, round your answer to the nearest tenth. Well, that's the 10th place. So is it going to be 77.2? Yes, because this is not 5 or greater, which means that that is the circumference of this circle. Question 13 says, what is the length of the radius of this circle? Well, this is an even easier question. So if the diameter is 12.8, then the radius will be half of that, which is 6.4. Some people got a little confused because they thought it was a different question, but this was a very easy question. What's the radius? At 6.4 centimeters. Question 14, what is the area of the circle? So we have to use our formula. The area of a circle is equal to pi multiplied by the radius squared, or pi multiplied by the radius multiplied by the radius. We need to then do 3.14 multiplied by 12 squared, which is 3.14 multiplied by 144, which if I grab my calculator, 3.14 multiplied by 144 equals 452.16. And this did not say round, so we keep our answer as that, centimeters squared. Question 15 says, what is the area of this circle? So again, area equals pi r squared. A little bit of thinking going on. If the diameter is 6.8, then pi, the radius will be 3.4 squared. 3.14 multiplied by, well, what is 3.4 squared? Well, that is 3.4 multiplied by 3.4, not 2. A lot of people still think it's 6.8, but it's not. It's 11.56. And when you multiply those two out, get your calculator, 3.14 multiplied by 11.6 equals 36.424. All right, and that is area, so it's centimeters squared. This is round to the nearest tenth. So again, 36.4 is going to be your answer. All right, next question. What is the approximate length of the radius? Use 3 for pi. All right, so the circumference equals pi times diameter, right? We know that. So we know that the circumference is 33. And since it tells us to use 3 for pi, I'm going to substitute that in here. And it says, what's the approximate length of the radius? Now, I don't know how many people screwed up and put the diameter, but it's the radius. So I'm going to first isolate for the diameter using my algebra sense by dividing both sides by 3. The diameter is equal to 11. Now, since the diameter is equal to 11, we know the radius is half that. So the radius must be half of 11, which is 5.5. Because look, here's your diameter. It's 11, which means the radius is 5.5. Question 17. Mr. Doyle wants to build a fence around a semicircle shaped deck. How many meters of fence will he have to build? So he wants to build a fence all the way around this. So how are we going to do that? Well, let's look at this. This is going to be, this distance here is really half of a circle, right? If we think about this distance here, it's half of a circle. So I'm going to figure out the circumference of the full circle. So I'm going to draw the circle. I'm going to put my 5-meter radius in, and I'm going to say, what is the circumference of that circle? So circumference equals pi times diameter. 3.14. The diameter of this circle is 10. So 31.4 is my circumference. Okay? That means that this part here, if the whole thing, I'll erase this, if the whole thing was 31.4, then this part here will be half of that, which is 15.7. So it's 15.7 for this part. And this part here is really the diameter of my circle. And since this was 5 and this was 5, this part here is 10, which means the full perimeter of that semicircle is 25.7 meters, I think. Yes. Okay, next question. What is the approximate area for the shaded region? Use 3 as pi. So this is an interesting one because what we really have here is, I'm going to ungroup these, group these. Where's the group button? Oh, I can't. Ungroup? Oh, won't let me do that. Interesting. Okay, so I'm just going to redraw this then. I'm going to put my decimal here like I always do. I'm going to take that away. I'm going to take my circle, draw my big circle, take this and color it in. Mirror, you get to see how I do all this stuff now. Look at this. Color this one a gray. I'll do a darker gray. And then we'll take a small white one and we'll put it in here and we'll change that one to white, I think. Change that one to white. Fill color is white. Put them together and there we have this thing. So what we really want to do is we want to take these two separate circles and measure their area. So this one here is going to be kind of a tricky one. So this one here, I'll use this one. Okay. This one here has a radius of what? Well, we know that this part here was 5.8, and this was 1.1, and this was 1.1. So the full radius of this thing is going to be the sum of all those. So that's actually going to be 5.8 plus 1.1 plus 1.1, which is actually a diameter of 8 meters. The big gray one's going to have a diameter of 8 meters. And this one over here has a diameter of 5.8 meters. Okay. So if we figure out the area of this one, we're going to use pi r squared, which is 3.14. Oh, sorry, it says use 3. So 3 multiplied by the radius squared. Now the radius of the big one is going to be this distance here, which is 4 squared, which is 3 times 16, which is 48. So the big gray circle has an area of 48 meters squared. This one is pi r squared, but it's 3 multiplied by the radius, which is going to be 2.9, which is half the diameter squared. Take my calculator because I don't know my 2.9 tables. 2.9 squared, 8.41. And 8.41 multiplied by 3 is going to be 25. Oh, I better get my calculator. I can't think on the spot like this. 8.41 multiplied by the approximate pi is 25.23. Okay? So, if you take the big circle, which is the gray one, and subtract the small circle, which is this one here, you will have the gray ring that's left. And that's going to be, let me just check here. 12.77. 12.77 square meters is your answer. Okay, 22.77. Is that right? 22.77. Sorry, 22.77. Okay, question 19. How many degrees would you need to allocate for math? Well, we know that all of these degrees inside here add up to be a circle, which is 360 degrees. The whole thing is 360 degrees. We're looking for 30%, of 360 degrees. Well, we can do this one of two ways. We can use a calculator, we can do it mentally. We'll do it mentally this time. 10% is 36 degrees. We know that because we moved the decimal one place over for 10%, and we get 36%. 36 degrees. So 30% would be 3 times that, which is 36 degrees times 3, which is 108 degrees. So I would need to use 108 degrees to allocate for math. And the last one is my dog Monty is tethered to a tree in my front yard to a rope measuring 8 meters. So let's draw an aerial view of the tree. This is the tree, and there's the rope. That's 8 meters. Monty wants to do 3 laps of that. Okay? How far does he travel? Well, really, he's traveling 3 circumferences of an 8-meter radius circle. So it says use 3 as pi, so circumference is going to equal pi d. This circle that Monty's running is going to be 3 multiplied by the diameter, which is 16. That's going to be 3 times 48. 1 lap is 48, and since he's doing 3 laps, you're going to multiply that by 3, and you're going to get 144 meters that my dog Monty is going to run. Okay, hopefully you did very well on that test. If you didn't, make sure you make your necessary corrections and bring them in to me tomorrow, and I will give you a bonus mark for making all your necessary corrections. If you have any questions after that, come see me. We'll have some extra help.